Well,
Yes.
it's curious now.
That's my
It's a teaser.
cliffhanger. That was my teaser, yes.
Yeah. Well, Bill, you have some great ambitions with your students and maybe with yourself. I want to congratulate with that, especially because you are going to do it as a teacher, and that guys do we need. And I want to give you some advices, maybe an example how we should would fix it in Agora in Vermont. And Agora isn't a model, so I can give it to you.
It is or isn't a model?
Agora isn't a model,
Okay.
so I can't hand it to you at this moment. Agora is a culture. Agora is about relationships between maybe students and teachers. Agora is not a school, Agora is a square. And on a square are several people. But the main issue on that square is the learning and the growing of the kids. And in the first case they need a teacher, and in the second case they need the environment and the society around. So that's a perspective which I want to give you some issues about Agora for your coming 5 weeks with your students and with the ambition you have. And from an Agorian approach, I see from the beginning 2 disadvantages or 2 worries. And when you can change them, change it. You have defined some goals for every week.
Yeah, those are actually,
Okay,
I'll
good.
publish those
No
as more
problem.
real than they
It
are.
happened. But it's a disadvantage from an Agorian perspective. And you are a subject expert. That's also a disadvantage. And I will clear in my story what I mean. Because you have 5 weeks and you have a wonderful room here. Some great, you can make a lot of it. But we think the first thing you should do is the first day you come in, gather with your kids, 10 students, sit around on the tables and start talking. Talk with kids. And that sentence I will repeat several times. Because talk with kids. And ask the question, well, we are here together. The subject is ICT or technology or, I think, okay?
Engineering. is what I
Engineering,
call it.
okay. And the subject is engineering. And what are we going to try to do next 5 weeks here together? Well, why that question? To trigger curiosity, to trigger relationship, to trigger a conversation. That's an important issue. Start talking with the kids because they have a vision and they have a note about how they want to learn and what they want to reach. And learning doesn't start with a curriculum. Learning starts with curiosity. Learning starts with wonder moments. And the curiosity you can encourage by start talking with kids. But the wonder moments is a special issue because kids have are not familiar with recognized wonder moments from the last week, for example. So if I would ask you, what was your wonder moment last week? What a wonder moment can be, I came here and I saw the mountain and thought, oh, what a great mountain. What's its name? Or how does it come, that mountain? So I have a wow, a wonder moment, and I have a question. And that's the starting point of learning. That's the starting point of learning on Agora. And that's for us the starting point of learning in a self-directing, self-regulated environment which you want to reach. You don't want to reach a product. I didn't hear it from you. You want to reach an environment, a culture about self-directed learning. Self-directed learning who are aware of themselves, who can handle themselves in uncertain situations. That is what I hear you talking about this morning. And then
Certainly
this first sheet, I'm sorry?
Certainly on the human level.
Absolutely. And this first sheet is about trust and is about collaboration. And the second sheet is about reflection and feedback. And the both are the culture of Agora. And the culture of Agora is talking with kids and encourage wonder moments, because that are starting points of learning. But they don't know, they are not familiar anymore with wonder moments. So you have to prepare, you have 7 weeks to prepare. In January you start, I heard. After holiday you have some weeks to prepare something, so I give you some housework over here now. Prepare a wonder wall. Seduce them to think in wonder moment. What are wonder moments for you the last 2 or 3 weeks? And then show them and start a discussion. What are your wonder moments from the last 2 weeks for the kids? And then focus on your subject. The subject is engineering. What are you wondered about that subject? What do you want to do? So we focus on wondering, on eagerness to get the subjects, to get an issue from the children themselves, to investigate the coming 5 weeks. That's the starting point here. That's the starting point here. And don't talk about goals, especially academic goals, at this point. Don't talk about self-regulated learning at this point. It's not an issue for kids. They want to learn and they want to have fun and they want to be challenged by growing, by the feeling, wow, now this day I can something better than yesterday. So I made it grow, I get my wings, I feel happy. We all do in this room. We want to feel that we can something better than yesterday, today. Well, this is finally the whole process of the whole starting process of self-regulated learning. And Zimmerman, he did research to this, and he divided the whole process in 3 periods. The first one is the forethought, and this is the forethought. This whole slide is the forethought. The second is the performance, and the third is the self-reflection. In normal words, what do I want to do? Do it. How did it? Did I do it? What's the product? That's the case of how children can learn in an environment which leads to a self-regulated learning. Well, you have talked with kids. 1 lesson is enough because the trigger, and especially because you have only 5 weeks. I give you a photo, Bill, so otherwise my glasses, maybe, so you can read it. I give you a photo, so don't be worried. So this is a really important point, because here you want to reach the point that, especially because you have only 5 weeks, that every lesson you as a teacher you will reach the feeling by the kids that it was meaningful. That wow, what a great lesson! I had a product, and I look forward to the next lesson. No, I don't wait till the next lesson. I do my homework. So that's the feeling you will reach as a teacher after every lesson. So this is an important issue. Every lesson again. It starts with talking with the kids. It starts asking them questions. And it starts to point out where they are standing in this process. Well, the conversation is done, and then kids start with making choices about what they are wondering, about where they are curious of. So they start all 10 different subjects, different investigations, different routes, different, okay, you can imagine, they are not doing all the same, which we are familiar with in the normal classroom. And that's a learning experience for kids, but a chaos moment for Bill. Because how I am going to manage that? When they all 10 are starting with someone totally different, even within the subject of engineering, of course, but he wants to make an app, he wants to make a website, he wants, okay, Snapchat, I don't know. Yeah. Everyone that wants to do something else, and that's a learning experience for children. Say, wow, it's allowed for me to do that. So I'm motivated, I'm intrinsic motivated, I will fix it, okay? But that's a chaos moment for Bill. And then again, talk with the kids. Don't be in panic. Talk with the kids. Here they say, I want to make a website, or I want to make Snapchat, okay, or I want to create an app. That's a huge task. It's to oversee at this moment what I have to do. So, and here comes Agile into play. Complexity is low for kids. That's the main task at that moment for the teacher. Make the complexity low. So the whole challenge they have in 5 weeks, is up to you to make goal setting for one lesson. If that is the main project you want to make, main product you want to make in 5 weeks, divide it in slices, in little tasks for each lesson, what a child has to do, and do that together with the kids. Not for your own, they are on board. And they have for themselves a great impact, but also a great space to say how they do it. And maybe some are smarter than you, but you are always wiser. So when they make here a smart choice, but you know because you are an adult with a lot of years here on earth, that will not lead to success, then you say, oh, it's a great choice you make, but I don't advise you to go that, go otherwise to that. And so it's more a coaching role. It's a coaching role on the process of learning of kids. And the biggest, what's the good word of it? Maybe the biggest disadvantage, I don't know a better word, I come here, is that you here in this period fall into your knowledge about the content.
Yeah.
And it's the art, it's a specific art, to stay here on the process and not on the content. Because it's about the process, it's not about the content. How do you go to fix that major task, and how do we divide it in several parts, so you have every lesson, at the end of the lesson is a success experience, a little product, wow, I want to go to the other lesson, I want to finish it, I go home. That's the goal. It's an important goal for the teacher, and then you keep them internal motivated to go on with their tasks. Well, one lesson is a challenge. That's the period you have. There's a DOD, definition of done, of every one lesson. And of course, it's the main part of focusing on the progress and the process is, why am I willing to learn this now? He has to give answer on that question. So when he can give answer on that question, he does it with the end in mind. And he does it from his own perspective as person, from his own perspective as how he learns, what he needs. I need the knowledge of Arno, because Bill doesn't have that knowledge, but in the coaching session, you feel that there is knowledge need for the, and you say, okay, talk to Arno or talk to Paul, or no. So you don't need to have all the content knowledge for yourself. Let the kids learn in your environment, but also in the environment of the world. Well, just why am I willing to learn this now? How are you going to do this? It's the process and the progress. You have to measure and to feel what is the progress about this all, and reflect, build in a reflective moment on the product the kid has to deliver at the end of the lesson. Because talk with the kids, but not for free. The appointments we make you accountable for that appointment, and you say to me if you reached the goals. Otherwise, why didn't you reach your goal? What happened? Did we oversee something not in the right way? Okay. Well, this is forethought. Here is the self-regulated part of learning has already started here, deeply inside of kids, but also deeply inside of the teacher, because your role is a totally other role. Totally other role. You are sitting beside the kid, and they are they're starting in their own process of growing and learning here. Well, forethought here, now the performance, we have to do it. And then you need some guidance as teacher. Where are those kids standing in the processes? What did they finish with the end in mind. If I want to create a website at the end, how's the process going of the product, but also of the learning and so on. So here's the famous Kanban with the backlog. If I, the two speakers before me have told you enough of that. And the main goal also here is to increase complexity for yourself and for the kid. And it's a managerial tool, only a managerial tool for you and the kids and the parents to see where they stay and what they have reached with the end in mind. And then you talk about it. Reflect every time again on the process. What did you promise? What is your goal? Where are you standing here with the end in mind? And then that's the monitoring phase. And that depends on the learning skills and maybe the gender, maybe the neurological maturity of children. So it's by all the 10 are different in that. And that makes it a lot of interesting for the teacher, but also more difficult for the teacher. So my homework here is read Zimmerman and Leysin Ryan.
Do you give homework?
Yeah. No, I give homework. He doesn't. I give homework. And maybe some coaching skills, but maybe you have, and I don't want to insult you with. But folks, coaching on the process, not on the product. The product is coming. No, don't worry about it. It's what Paul earlier said this morning. They are all be graduated. He doesn't worry. That's good.
Not worried.
Well, this is the phase of the performance, doing it, and it leads to the product, to the app, to the website. And there is ask some quality. You want to see some quality by the product, and that is in the definition of done, which was here already on the table, and you did talk about together. And in the second, third week, you know your children better, and you know also, I guess, that Arno, okay, he goes for that acceptance criteria, but he can more. So I challenge him to do something extra or to make it more difficult for him. Well, that's it, the acceptance criteria of the product. And then you make an appointment about the presentation of the product. And Paul has a great challenge here in his school to seduce other teachers to do this, what Bill is going to do. Well, maybe it's an idea that those kids are presenting their products for your team, or for a part of your team. And don't be angry. The kids aren't angry. They do this. So you only have to organize it and facilitate it. They are going to stand for the other teachers and tell not only what they did, but what they have learned. And what they have learned, not in compare with me and Arno. That's not interesting. But what I've learned from now and 5 weeks ago, that's interesting. That is my growing scale. So make use of the children in your school to sell the product, self-regulated learning, for example. And you make a new challenge with the children because they finish the product. Maybe not at the end of the 5 weeks, maybe also here after one lesson. So this is also an agile principle. You can put it in here, but you make a new challenge based on, again, experience, wondering, and curiosity. So stay close to that, to those principles. And I think this is a laughing smiley from a kid, and this is a laughing smiley from Bill after 5 weeks in this first iteration. Well, okay.
For none of our classes do we have finals or tests at the end. We're calling them culminating experiences, which we stole from IB, so that we're somewhat in line with another. We have an authority to look at if we have to direct somebody to another body. But the idea is exactly that the students are sharing what they have done, and we have venues for that already. We have a library lecture series that happens now and again, where students or faculty can present something that's of interest to them.
It might be cool to do
And
that
then-
with the middle school itself.
Yeah, and then we have the large room down here, which currently fits our size, where we can just have students present from their classes of what they've done for the rest of the school.
Yeah, that's my
I
favorite.
I mentioned in this phase, don't bother them with goals, but you have the goals already in mind
Sure.
for the IB, because and some place, some time in the process, you give them advices to go more on that side, or otherwise they don't get a diploma. That's the way we have to do it in our school. Otherwise, so but and there are some kids who are coming up to us now, and they looked up on the internet what are the goals which I have to achieve to be successful at the end. So it's all self-regulating parts which we have to which is worthwhile to give a party for, because
You also mentioned at the beginning the talking with the students and so on, and that'll be happening long before it gets to your class. We're going to use, at least the current plan is, we're going to use a book by Edgar Schein, The Humble Inquiry, so that the students are learning to ask better and better questions. So we're focusing them on asking the questions, not that the teacher asks the best question to elicit the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
But that the students learn to ask good questions for everybody.
Okay, that's good. What we say is
A little leitmotif.
the way to a good question is so much longer than the way to the right answer. So you have to practice it.
Yeah.
But this first phase is also meant to get in good relationship between teacher and children. And that's the way we talk about the leveling and effect.
Yeah.
Some coaching techniques are necessary here,
Yeah.
and it will help the whole group to set further steps.
And you mean professional coaching, right? Like when you say coaching, you mean like international coaching federation stuff, like proactive coaching or
No, you mean like
spoken coaching.
Bill functioning as a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm defining what coach is. Functioning as a coach, and what does that mean? So what the confusion I get sometimes from teachers when I say coach is, oh, it's like a sports coach. Or is it like professional coaching, like life coaching kind of thing, where you're asking questions, humble inquiry, that kind of thing?
I think the coach
What?
should be
I was gonna
more
say it's,
about learning process and the growth of kids.
Mhm.
In the age of 12 is different than when they are 16. So they have to learn
Right,
and know about that issue.
right.
do you mean the distinction like where Arno says, well, better than teachers, I like facilitator better, along the line of, that's the coach. That's how I was taking it.
Like a facilitator, right? Okay. I just make clarity on what you mean by coach. Is that what you mean? Kind of like if you went to a coach, like a life coaching training kind of thing,
Where I
or
don't have the definitions in my head. It's all about relationship,
Mhm.
and they have to understand each other.
Okay.
And they have to set next steps in
Right.
the learning process of the kid,
Okay.
and in the guiding process of the teacher. So
Yeah.
when they find each other, and there are some basic issues on coaching,
Mhm.
and you have to be aware about it, and you have to need that skills.
Yeah.
It's like mentorship is wrapped up in there for me. It's kind of a Vygotsky. You can do more with a peer who knows a little bit more. It's
Mm.
wrapped up in there.
Okay.
Well, okay,
That is it.
please.
What do you think, Bill?
Good. I'll have to study it a little bit. It's a little mind bending.
You need a budget for some materials.
I loved everything. I really liked how you started out with, not the process, but the bigger picture, the wondering. I really love that, bringing it back to the bigger picture, like self-regulation, the process, everything. I love the whole idea ever since you said it, the wonder moments. It always stuck with me, that idea of wonder moments. And I actually stole it and now go with walks with my daughter. We call them wonder walks. And we just go and we just wonder about stuff. Oh, I wonder how that was made. I don't know, maybe it was like this. So that, to me, is very inspiring. To me, it's like the Kindle.
Asking the
The
question.
funny thing is that it always starts with intrinsic motivation, but after a while they get extrinsic because they need somebody who can help him. And when you say as a light expert, I think you should do this because then they go doing that,
Yeah.
and then it's
But it's based on their permission though,
Yeah.
isn't you're ordering
Then
them, they're
they-
asking,
Then they know, okay, that's in my
yeah.
in the heart.
You're offering, not
Yeah.
ordering.
Yeah.
And I also love the why, they're smart, but you're wise. To me, that was really powerful. That really stuck with me.
I think without deeper reflection, the two that are gonna be easy for me to, explore is starting by one, really talking to the kids, at least initially, about why are we doing this, and then maybe making it a ritual to deal with the wonder wall, to work with the wonder wall, maybe at the start of class somehow. I haven't figured out how to integrate those ideas into the classroom, but those two stick to me as the, I guess, two foundations from those ideas that would easily fit into the idea of engineering, especially. Because really fundamentally, wondering about stuff is
Engineering.
pretty integral to engineering. And talking to the kids about that might actually, it wasn't part of my plan to do that, but I like it. I'm experimenting in my mind so far.
Bill, may I give you an advice?
Okay,
Start with this.
start with what?
This
Agora.
context, this Agora. That's the best way of working.
Yeah.
That's the way education must start. Not the old school system. We have to struggle with the old school curriculums or exams or kind of stuff. But this is real learning. This is real learning. And then the tools you can integrate from John or from Scrum. That's a tool or kind of process. But this is the starting point of learning.
Mm-hmm.
So that
So you're kind of saying, focus on the forethought with the discussion.
Yes.
And then use agility to work with the performance.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
use whatever reflection is appropriate
yes.
based on their wonder,
Yes.
Mhm.
so to speak.
You have the freedom
Yes.
here in this
We are
school.
stuck
We are rigid in our system,
Yeah.
and Jan make it happen, and is Guido and Martin and other make it happen. He's in the position he can determine what to do.
Mm-hmm.
We are teachers. We don't have the tools of we can do nothing about it. Also, in working in a rigid system,
Mm-hmm.
but he created a system Agora. He created Agora where you can
Culture.
learn.
The
Mhm.
culture.
The culture, yes. He created this.
It's good when you see
So I
it
think
compact.
Yeah.
this
That fulfills the culture part of
Yes.
the compass.
that is the best way of. This must be an example. This can be the example for the world. That's my way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have
So
an
what-
exam, you don't have an exam, don't tests, and when children are happy about learning and they know how to learn and they have their wonder moments, and the rest will come.
See, there's the possibility that we actually nail it right in the afternoons. Let's say, give us a couple of years, but let's say the afternoons are what the kids talk about, right?
Mm.
And they say, why the hell are we doing this other stuff in the morning?